Everyone thinks chasing happiness will make you happy. But what if the more you chase it, the more miserable you become? That sounds strange, right? We all want to be happy, so it makes sense to go after it. But what if this search itself is the problem? Imagine a dog chasing its own tail. The harder it tries, the dizzier it gets. Could our search for happiness be just like that? In this video, we're going to explore a different way of thinking from the Stoics, an ancient group of wise thinkers. They believed that always looking for happiness could actually make us feel worse. Instead of chasing happiness, they had a different idea about how to live a good life. Maybe happiness isn't something you find by searching. Maybe it's something else entirely. So, why would trying to be happy make us unhappy? What do the Stoics know that we don't? As we dive into this, get ready to flip some of your ideas upside down and see happiness from a completely new angle. This isn't just about feeling good, but understanding what really matters. Are you ready for a journey into the surprising world of Stoic wisdom? A long time ago, in ancient Greece and Rome, there were some very smart people called Stoics. They were like deep, thinking superheroes who wanted to understand how to live a good and happy life. The Stoics started about 200-300 years ago. They had big ideas about life, and they loved talking about them. One important Stoic was named Zeno. He began teaching these ideas around 300 years before Jesus was born. The Stoics were very interested in understanding why people feel happy or sad. They wanted to know the secret to being happy all the time, no matter what happened around them. They thought that maybe happiness wasn't about having lots of toys or candy. They believed happiness was not something you could find by searching everywhere like a treasure hunt. Instead, they believed happiness comes from inside, by thinking and living in a special way. The Stoics taught people to stay calm and strong, even if things around them weren't going well. They said that it's not the outside world that makes us feel good or bad, but how we decide to think about it. They thought that if we could control our thoughts and feelings, we could be happy even if we didn't have everything we wanted. So, when people talk about the Stoics, they are talking about ancient wise people who had a clever way of looking at life. Their ideas have lasted a very long time because they help us understand what's really important. Today, many people still follow Stoic ideas to find happiness without having to chase it all the time. It's like using an ancient map to find the secret to a good life. Imagine you really want to be happy, like when you play with your favorite toy or eat yummy ice cream. But here's a tricky puzzle. Sometimes, trying too hard to be happy can actually make you feel sad or upset. This is called a paradox because it seems strange. How can looking for happiness make you unhappy? Let's think about it like this. Imagine you're chasing a beautiful butterfly because you want to catch it. The more you run after the butterfly, the more it flies away. It's a bit like that with happiness. When we chase after it too much, it can slip away. That's the central problem we're talking about. This is what the Stoics, those wise thinkers from long ago, were trying to tell us. They believed that when people focus too much on finding ways to feel happy, like getting new toys or winning games, they might actually feel more worried or sad. It's like trying to hold onto a handful of water. It just keeps slipping through your fingers. A small example is when you want to play all day and have lots of fun, but then you feel tired and cranky because you didn't take any breaks. The fun you were looking for ends up making you feel not so great. This is the curious puzzle. Why does looking for more happiness sometimes make us feel less happy? The Stoics wanted us to explore this puzzle and understand why this happens. They thought maybe the key to a happy life isn't about chasing happiness all the time. Instead, they believed it's about finding peace inside yourself, not just from outside things. This is the mysterious question we're trying to solve. Why does seeking happiness sometimes make us feel the opposite? Let's explore how trying too hard to be happy can sometimes make us feel not so happy. Imagine a small story about a boy named Timmy. Timmy loves cookies, and he thinks eating lots of them will make him super happy. So, one day, he eats a whole bunch of cookies all at once. At first, he feels great, but soon, his tummy starts to hurt. Instead of feeling happy, he feels sick. This shows us that sometimes, too much of what we think will make us happy can actually do the opposite. Now, let's think about something bigger. Imagine a girl named Lucy who loves winning games. She believes that if she wins all the time, she will be the happiest person ever. So, she practices all day, every day, without stopping. But as she keeps playing, she starts to feel really tired and stressed. She even stops having fun with her friends because she's too focused on winning. In the end, she feels lonely and not happy at all. This is another example of how chasing happiness too much can make us feel bad instead. Finally, picture a town where everyone wants to be the richest. They all work and work, thinking money will make them happy. But soon, people in the town stop talking to each other, and they forget to enjoy simple things like playing or laughing. Everyone is busy chasing money. The town becomes sad and gloomy because they lost what really matters: friendship and joy. These stories help us see how chasing happiness, like eating too many cookies, or always wanting to win or have more money, can make us feel worse instead of better. They show why it's important to find happiness inside ourselves, not just outside things. Let's imagine how things get serious when people keep chasing happiness too hard. First, think about a boy named Alex who just loves video games. At first, playing makes him happy, and he has fun with his friends. But soon, he starts playing all the time. He skips homework and doesn't go outside to play. Now, Alex's grades are dropping, and he feels tired all the time. This shows how chasing happiness in games can lead to real problems at school and with his health. Now, picture a family who wants to have the best house on the block. They start buying lots of fancy things, thinking it will make them happy and proud. But they spend too much money, and soon, they can't pay for important things like food and bills. They argue and feel stressed because they're worried about losing their house. This shows how wanting too much can cause big problems at home. Finally, let's take a look at a city where everyone is trying to be famous. People stop talking to each other because they're too busy taking pictures and trying to be popular online. They forget to enjoy real moments with friends and family. Soon, the city feels cold and unfriendly because everyone is only thinking about themselves and their phones. This shows how chasing fame can hurt a whole community. These stories help us see why it's important not to focus too much on chasing happiness. If Alex doesn't change, he might fail school. If the family doesn't stop spending, they might lose their home. If the city doesn't reconnect, everyone might end up lonely. It teaches us why finding happiness inside, not outside, is so important. Chasing happiness can sometimes lead to real harm if we're not careful. Imagine you've just heard stories about how chasing happiness too much can cause problems. Now, let's see what an expert says about it. There's a wise person from long ago named Seneca, who was a Stoic philosopher. He thought a lot about happiness and taught people how to live better lives. Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Seneca knew that when people only think about being happy all the time, they might forget to enjoy what they have right now. Instead, he believed in finding joy in simple things like spending time with friends or enjoying a sunny day. By doing this, we can be happy without always chasing after more. Another expert who studied happiness is a man named Dr. Robert Emmons. He studies gratitude and how it makes people feel good inside. He found that saying thank you and being grateful helps people be happier. Dr. Emmons showed that when people appreciate what they have, they feel happier and less worried about getting more things. Both Seneca and Dr. Emmons teach us that happiness isn't about always getting new toys or winning games. It's about feeling good with what we already have. When we listen to these experts, we learn that happiness doesn't need to be chased. We can find it in our everyday lives and in the people around us. So, instead of running after happiness like it's a butterfly that flies away, we can learn to be happy right where we are, just like Seneca and Dr. Emmons suggest. That way, we won't feel tired or sad from always reaching for something more. We can enjoy the simple joys around us and feel truly happy in our hearts. Think about the way we use our phones and computers every day. Have you ever noticed how many people, maybe even you, scroll through social media looking at pictures and stories? Sometimes, it seems like everyone else is having more fun or looks happier. This can make us feel like we need to do the same things to be happy, too. But remember what the wise Stoics and experts taught us. Happiness isn't about having the most toys or the coolest pictures. It's about feeling good with what we have right now. When we constantly look at what others are doing and think we need to do more, it can make us feel sad or like we're missing out. Let's think about another example. Do you remember when you wanted a new toy so much, but after getting it, the excitement faded quickly? This shows that chasing after things doesn't always make us happy for long. Instead, playing with our friends or spending time with family can make us feel happier inside. Now, let's look at something happening around us. People often work really hard, thinking that more money or a bigger house will make them happy. But sometimes, in working so hard, they don't have time to enjoy the little things, like playing with their kids or having a cozy family dinner. These examples show us that the lessons from Stoic philosophers still matter today. They remind us not to get lost in chasing happiness through things or what others have. Instead, we can find happiness in simple moments, like laughing with friends or enjoying a sunny afternoon. So, next time you feel like you need to do more to be happy, remember happiness is already around you, waiting to be noticed and enjoyed. That's how we connect ancient wisdom to our everyday lives today. Imagine you're trying to catch a butterfly. The more you chase it, the more it flies away. This is a bit like happiness. When we chase after it too hard, it seems to slip away from us. But if we sit quietly and enjoy the flowers around us, sometimes the butterfly comes and sits right on our shoulder. This teaches us something important. Happiness isn't something we can catch by running after it. It's something that comes when we enjoy the little things in life. Just like the Stoics said, true happiness is about feeling good inside, not just about what we have or what we do. So, let's think about this. How can we find joy in simple things like playing with a friend, drawing a picture, or listening to a story? Sometimes when we stop chasing and start enjoying, we feel happier. Here's another thought. When we feel sad because we don't have what others do, maybe it's time to remember what we do have. Can we feel happy playing in the park, laughing with our family, or reading a good book? These are the moments that can make us smile without needing anything more. Reflecting on these ideas can help us see that happiness is not a race. It's more like a peaceful walk where we notice the beauty around us. By thinking about these simple lessons, we can start to understand that happiness is inside us and around us, waiting to be noticed. So, the next time you're looking for happiness, maybe try stopping for a moment. Look around and appreciate what's already there. Remember, happiness is not something far away. It might be right where you are. As we finish our story, let's think about what we've learned. We have explored how chasing happiness can sometimes make it harder to find. Just like chasing a butterfly, running too fast might make it fly away. But when we sit and enjoy what's around us, happiness might come to us naturally. Now, here's something you can do the next time you feel like you're missing happiness. Pause for a moment. Look around and find something small that makes you smile. A pretty flower, a kind friend, or a funny joke. Enjoy these simple things, because they are like little treasures that can fill your heart with joy. Also, let's remember to be grateful for what we have. When we feel thankful, we often feel happier, too. So, maybe tonight, think of 3 things that made you smile today. You might find happiness is already closer than you think. As we end our journey together, let's keep in mind that happiness doesn't always need to be chased. It can be found in the quiet moments and little joys. Thank you for joining us in thinking about happiness today. If you remember these ideas, you might find yourself smiling a little more often. And now, here's something fun to remember. If you reach the end, jot down the word butterfly to remind you of our story. Thank you for being part of this adventure.